live makeup lesson. Come with me because today is really exciting. We are joined by my friend Petra. Hello. We thought it'd be lovely if we invited you to a live makeup lesson with Petra. Petra is going to chat through all of her makeup concerns, what she's perhaps struggling with, and hopefully I'm going to be able to help. And I just thought it'd be really fun for you guys to watch. So, Petra, should we get started?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Let's go.
Okay, right. Petra, talk me through what you'd most like me to teach you today.
So I like to look natural, and I think I'm fairly happy-ish with my makeup, but when I look at photos, I think, I could really do a bit more with that.
So when you look at photos of yourself, what is it in the photos that makes you feel like you're not happy with?
I look a little bit colourless.
Okay, so when you say colourless, because when I look at you, I think you've got a gorgeous colour. So where do you look and see colourless?
Sort of my hair blends in with my face.
Okay. It doesn't.
I want to pop like you do.
You want to pop?
Yes,
Okay.
I'd like to pop.
Okay, so Petra, I know that you like a really natural look. So one thing that I'd be a little bit worried about is if I do a really bright lipstick, I don't think you'd like it. So perhaps it's me showing you ways just to create more definition of your features.
Perfect. That would be ideal.
That way you're popping, but without looking like you're popping.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I would like
we all
definition.
want to pop, but naturally. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I pop in a big way with my bright pink lips, but I'm happy popping off.
Okay, bright blue eyes.
Well, it's makeup, as people know. They've seen me without it.
You make up your eyeballs.
I colour them in each morning. Okay, so I've got my makeup here. I'm going to shut this door behind me here because I think it might let in a little bit of noise. Okay, so we've got Katie that's filming live. If you haven't met me, I'm Katie, professional makeup artist, founder of beautyandboutique.com. So, Petra, now I know you, and I know that you don't like to wear foundation, do you?
No. I've never found one that suits me and it accentuates my pores.
Okay, so
I like to look dewy.
You like to look dewy. Okay, so for your dewy look, I'm going to add on a nice face cream that the makeup that I use on top is going to work really nicely with. But it's important that when you put on your skincare products, we probably haven't got time in this video, but if you're doing your makeup at home, you really do want to wait a good few minutes for your skincare to soak into your skin before you apply your makeup. Because that's going to just make sure your makeup stays on longer without sliding off your face. So
that's where I go wrong.
I think all of us are just in a rush in the mornings, aren't we? But you could put your face cream on. I mean, probably too much information, but what I do is I put my skincare on and then I will go to the toilet. Too much info, but while I'm on the toilet, I'm like, oh, it's soaking in. You know, people call it a 2-in-1.
I'll try it.
Okay, so I put your face cream on. I'm going to put a little bit of eye cream on. This one is really lovely, and it just means that when we put a touch of concealer, because you don't have dark circles at all.
But I did.
No, very not at all, because really all I want to do is just make just blend in a little bit. And I think maybe the reason that you're not loving foundation is that foundation, sometimes when we think of foundation, we can think it just is too much of a mask. And when I look at your face, I don't know if the camera is picking up this, but you can see Petra's got lovely freckles. Now I think freckles on the skin look really pretty and youthful, and I don't want to cover those freckles because I think as soon as you cover the freckles, then it takes away interest from the face, and I really want to celebrate your freckles. So I'm just going to use concealer in key places. And I'm going to show you what, Petra, I'm going to show you a way, but also I'm going to show you a way at home that you can wear concealer in key places that give you a perfected look, but without looking like you're wearing anything on your face. So now that we've done your skincare, I'm going to use a concealer, this one here, and what I tend to do is I put a little bit on the back of my hand, and then I use my ring finger, has the lightest touch on our face, and I will just tap into where I feel you need coverage. So areas for you would be really in the dark area here. You don't really have any darkness here, and most of us don't have darkness around here, so I'm just applying around this area. Now, your under eye is slightly lighter than the rest of your skin, so I've chosen a concealer that is like one shade darker than your under eye, but I want to make sure the concealer marries in with the rest of your face. Because sometimes a lot of us will find that our face is a different colour to our neck might be lighter, our face might be darker, or the other way around. And you really do need to just work out, okay, do you want to warm up your skin, or do you want to make it look a little bit paler? And I think warming up the skin, like we're doing here, it makes, I'm just going to get you to face the camera there, it makes, you'll see, can you see as I'm putting this on, looks probably a couple of shades too dark, but look at this side, how I've blended it in. It's blending into the rest of the face. And that's just because for Petra, she has slightly lighter skin under her eyes, but I want to blend it in to the rest of her face to create more of a uniformed look. And as I am blending it in, I'm not just focusing the concealer around the under eye. You'll see I'm kind of patting in the concealer where Petra has any darkness, because that will provide the most coverage. And then to blend it out, I'm using a feathering, sweeping motion that's blending into the rest of Petra's face. But because I've put a really nice dewy moisturiser on, what it's meaning is that the concealer is soaking in and just creating a really natural look. So look at me. That's it. I'm just going to go in front of you here. And then I'll put a little bit round Petra's nose. Not that Petra needs it here, but I think if we've used a concealer around the eye, I want to just make sure that the rest of the face has a similar tone to it. So a little bit on the chin, here, and then centre of the forehead. So it's really just the T-zone that I'm doing. And you'll notice I'm using my fingers because I think for most of us, especially doing our makeup in the mornings, let's face it, our fingers are always clean, we don't have to search around for fancy brushes. And I think if I can show people how to do makeup using their fingers with minimal brushes, I think that's more achievable. Because not everyone has a full set of makeup brushes like a makeup artist. And then if you close your eyes in the future, I'm just going to put the finishing leftovers on my fingers just along the top of your lids.
So how much did you use on your hand?
I used 2 swipes of this,
Okay.
so I was like that, and that's all I've used, but I've blended it around. There's a mirror here.
Yeah.
So we've just created a uniform look. If you wanted to a little bit more, you could just go back in, and now I'm tapping and pressing the colour in, because that will mean it will just give you a bit more coverage. But because this is a medium coverage concealer, it's still allowing your natural skin to show through, which is what I want for you, because I want your skin, I want all the beautiful freckles to show through.
Just a nice light coverage.
Yeah, it's just very natural, and I think because I've used this really lovely face cream underneath, you'll see as your skin catches the light, it is giving you that dewy finish that you want. And I don't think people would even think you've got any coverage, anything on your skin. It just look very very, just you, but on a very good day. So what we're going to do next is we've perfected Petra's skin, and now what I'm going to do is just add a gentle little bit of sculpting in. I don't really want to call this contouring because I think that would look too much, and I know that you tend to like to wear bronzer.
Yeah.
When you apply bronzer, how do you use bronzer?
So I'll put a little bit here,
Yeah.
because that seems to accentuate that part. Makes me look a little bit slimmer.
So yeah, what you're saying is, sorry, go on, Petra.
And then I put it across there.
Across there.
And sometimes a little bit
On the
inside,
front.
just in case I saw something once, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, so what you're explaining is when you put your bronzer here, because your bronzer is darker than your skin tone, that will create shadow. And when you create shadow, it creates a look of a hollow, which is why you're saying it makes you feel like it makes you look slimmer. What I'm going to show you is we're just going to move where you put your bronzer here, we're going to move it up to right underneath your cheekbone. Because if we put the bronzer here, your cheeks could look lower. And I think we can make your cheeks and your cheekbones look higher by finding where your cheekbone is. So if you feel your face, you should feel a ridge where your cheekbone is. So if you take your finger, that's it. Yeah. So where your finger is there, that is where we're going to apply your bronzer.
Oh, all the way up there?
Yeah, we're going to go from here to here.
Okay.
As opposed to here.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it both sides because then this part is going to look more lifted.
Right.
So to do that, I like to use, most people get a big bronzer brush, but I like a small slanted brush like this because it can actually follow the contours. Now a little technique that I love to do that I've been showing people on my lives is a bronzer technique that we will start applying the bronzer here, and then, so the majority of the darkness is here, and then it sweeps out and blends to here. Whereas typically most people put their bronzer brush here, and then swash it around and move it up. But if you start your bronzer here and sweep it round, that gives you a really beautiful sculpted look, because when we have more depth of colour towards the back of our face, that's what creates more definition and more of a sculpt. So I'm going to load up my brush, and then I'm going to tap off any excess, and then I'm going to gently place the brush and swipe it just underneath your cheekbone. And then the leftovers on my brush I'm just going to move the other way.
You see more already.
I mean, you look like a 90s wave supermodel.
Only on the side.
So, I don't want this to look like an obvious sculpt. I think, for me, my way of doing makeup is for it to look very natural and really like you're not really wearing any makeup, you're just looking like you, but on a really good day. Now what I will do is take this bronzer and I'm going to hug the contours of your jawline, because this is just going to create a little bit more shade around here, which is going to strengthen the jawline. So I'm hugging the jawline, but then I'm blending it down into the neck. And I'm going to focus on this area here, right under the chin, because sometimes this area here, certainly on me, it's starting to drop a little bit, not so much on you, Petra. And by just adding a bit of bronzer here, it really just knocks it back and strengthens the jawline.
That's nice and intuitive.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that the camera is showing that Petra's face, we're just creating a very natural look. Now you've got a lovely small forehead, so I'm not going to put too much bronzer here, because if I put a lot of bronzer here and here, it's actually going to make your forehead look smaller.
That's what I always do as well.
So what we are going to do is just put a little bit on the temples here.
Okay.
Just here and here. And then we're going to sweep over the nose. Now I know you typically were doing it like this, but I don't think you need any contour on your nose because you've got a beautiful nose and it doesn't need contouring at all. So I would just sweep over like that. And then I would just take my bronzing brush, tap off, squeeze it, and then close your eyes. I'm just going to run a little bit of bronzer on your eyelids. And the reason I do that is because by putting the bronzer on the eyelids as well, it makes everything just merge in together, and it actually doesn't look like you're wearing bronzer now. It just looks like your natural colourings, which is absolutely beautiful. And I think that when we have bronzer on, we can get much in here, it really does just lift our face. And I think for many of us, we tend to just keep bronzer for the summertime, or when we feel like we want to tan. But actually the secret to makeup looking beautiful is to find a bronzer that looks good on us all year round. So this shade, you might choose a lighter shade in the winter, but especially as we get older, we lose more pigment in our skin, and I think by putting a little bit of bronzer back on, it just lifts us and it just awakens the complexion. So this is great for you in the summer, this one.
Great. Yeah, that is
And you've still got got a lovely dewy look there.
Yeah, I like that.
Now I know you have your brows microbladed, and I think your brows look lovely. And I won't touch your brows because I think they look amazing. But when you were saying about photos, and I think if someone is watching this and feeling like, oh yeah, I want to have more definition on my face, then I think brows is a really good place to start. I've got lots of tutorials on brows. If you comment brows, we'll send you a tutorial for brows. But I think, there's such good microblading now where you could have your brows done as well, where you don't even have, if you're not good at brows, you could get them done professionally so you don't have to worry about them. But I think having your brows shape your face you're pretty much done with your makeup look. All you'd have to do then is a bit of mascara, bit of gloss, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you a way we can define your eyes. Because before we went live, Petra, you were saying to me in particular that you'd seen photos of yourself and you felt like your eyes weren't looking as big as what they were before, perhaps.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to show you a way that we can create more definition, but so that it looks natural.
Great.
So I'm going to use a brown liner. I know typically you have a black liner, and I'm not against black, I think it's great, but for me, if I can get a really dark brown, it will just look a bit more softer and more natural. It's just personal taste. And what I'm going to show you is a way that we can really get eyeliner, a look of eyeliner, but without it taking up a lot of lid space. So to do that, I'm just going to hold, if you look down for me, I'm just going to tickle this liner right into the root of the lash. So it's right where the lashes are growing. So you can't see any liner on top, but it will just be hidden underneath on the root. I'm just going to waft that to dry it.
So you're just going halfway in there?
Yeah, so at the moment, I haven't taken it right over to this section. I could do, but for lots of people at home, they can find that a little bit too tricky.
Yeah.
So I say even if you just get it on the outer corner, that will do a great job.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to enhance a little bit more on the corners there. And then I'm just going to sweep that up with my nail. So if you have a look at the mirror, you can see it's just
lovely. Yeah, I like that.
It's subtle, but you can see a little. And I'm going to now build that up with other products.
Thank you.
So I'll do the other eye. So again, it's really...
Am I looking down?
Yeah, if you look down for me, that's it. Just wiggle the colour right on the root of the lashes. You're doing really well, I must say. Gonna give that a little waft. And the reason I'm drying it is because I don't want it to transfer to the bottom. So it's always best to find a smudge-proof liner for that. And then I'm going to just build up a little bit more on the corner there. And then with the leftover, I'm just going to wing it up there. So that's a very natural look, but say if we were going out for the evening, you were like, well, I just want to touch more. Or even, you know, even in the day, I'm going to get a shadow stick. Let's choose a colour. This one here, which is, it's got an iridescence to it. So what that means is that when it's on the lid, it's going to reflect the light and it's going to just make the eye look bigger, because when something attracts the light, it's always going to look bigger. So to do that, I'm just going to sweep a little bit along the lid. Doesn't have to be neat, because this is almost just like a crayon. And then I'm going to blend it with my finger. And I'm going to take this colour right up into the socket. So I'm just going to come around here. And then I'm going to blend with my finger. So you open your eyes to me, Petra, and look down. Look at me. That's it. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. And then now I've got the shape, I'm just going to go over to create more coverage. And this is a really easy way of doing eyeshadow, because it's a stick. And it's a really easy way of doing eyeshadow at home if you don't have lots of brushes. Open your eyes for me. Oh, lovely. And just blend it with my fingers. And any areas that you feel that you don't want as much, you can just keep blending with your fingers. So I tend to get more depth of colour here. And then if I blend more up here, it's going to almost look like a natural smokiness, whereas we've got darker and then it's got slightly less coverage up there. Have a look. Oh, lovely. So I'm just going to take off a little bit of the eyeliner here. So perfect. Okay, I'm going to put a touch more here. And then I'll do the other eye, just to reiterate what I've done. So this is it's called a shadow stick. Can you close your eyes for me? I'm just running it along the the lid. Like so, smudging it as I go with my finger. This is much easier if you've applied eye cream first of all. And then I'm taking it into the socket, and then I'm almost like drawing a little rainbow almost. So it might feel like you're doing a little windscreen wiper on your eye. And then I'm simply blending with my finger backwards and forwards. So okay, so I'm just going to come around. And then once I've got the initial bit of coverage, I then go back and add just a touch more on the lower lid. And then I'm always careful when I apply any eyeshadow that the eyeshadow never goes beyond where the corner of the eye is and the corner of the brow, because as soon as it goes past there, it will take the eye downwards. So you always want to imagine there's an invisible line going from the corner of the eye to the edge of the brow. And if you don't go past that invisible line, it will always just make sure your eyeshadow keeps up rather than take your eye down. So let's have a look. Oh wow, it's looking lovely. I'm just going to take off a little bit where we've got transfer here. There. And then I'm now going to take another colour with this shadow stick, and I'm just going to apply a little bit on the lower lash line and smudge. And look at me. So you might not want to do this every day, but this, you could just do the eyeliner technique I've done and then put some mascara on and you're good to go. But I just want to look up for me, build up a look so you can see what you can do. But everything I'm doing is I'm applying, then I'm smudging, I'm applying, then I'm smudging. And I think when you do that with your makeup, it always ensures that your makeup looks, I want to say lived in and natural, because no one wants to really leave the door looking like they've tried too hard. And I think the secret is about makeup looking like it's emphasising your natural features in a way that's not look like you've just got too much makeup on. So now I'm just going back and smudging in. Look at me, Petra. Oh, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to do your lashes and then I'm going to create more of a cheekbone and then we're going to do your lips, right? So, if you have a look in the mirror, Petra, do you feel, would that be too much eye makeup for you typically?
It's a lot more than I would normally wear, but yeah, I appreciate it. It's not a lot. It's a lovely colour.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for you to have, we'll take your picture after this and you see your features and see if you feel that in the pictures you're looking like you've got that much more of a defined pop in a photo. But previously we've spoken about if people don't like to wear lots of eyeshadow, we were speaking about, you know, getting little lash extensions because that often can just be just enough just to give us that definedness of our eye, just really enhance our eyes without having to do loads of eyeshadow.
Yeah.
So if you look down for me, and then I'm just going to wiggle the brush on the roots. And the trick for mascara application is getting most of the mascara right on the roots first. You know, a bit like what we did with the liner. Because when we coat the roots first, it means that most the mascara is on the base of the lash, and then you have the least mascara on the tips, and that's what prevents the clogging and the clumpiness. So I'm going to do a second coat, and then I'm going to comb them through and just tidy up where we might have had any smudges.
And that's a black one, is it, or brown?
Yeah, this is black. So you could wear brown, but I think what this black will do is really enhance your eye colour because there'll be more of a definition between your natural eye colour and the black. Whereas if I used a brown on you, it would more all tone into one, which would look pretty, but the brief for today is definition, so I want to create that contrast. And I think if you really want your eyes to pop, using a black mascara will create more contrast. So we'll do the other lashes, wiggle on the base, get as much on the base of the lash as possible, and then lift up. Lovely. Now, if you're watching this and you've got mascara down there, what I tend to do is I won't worry if mascara smudges, I'll let it smudge and then I'll wait for it to dry and then I'll go in it after with a Q-tip and just wipe it off. Because I think if you try to remove mascara when your mascara's wet, it's just going to smudge it.
Oh, that's a good tip.
I mean, if you have a mascara that's really stubborn, then you can always just put your Q-tip in a little bit of eye cream or face cream and remove it that way as well. That works really well. So I'm doing the lower lashes, and do you normally put mascara on your lower lashes?
Yeah.
Some people don't like to, but I always think it really does open up the eye, you know, because you're framing all of the eye as opposed to just the top. I really like this I really like the black against your eye colour because you've got really beautiful green eyes, and I think it really enhances the colour. Really lovely. I will brush these out after.
I can never get the hang of the lower lashes. I either smear it all over the lower lid,
Yeah.
or there's not enough or it all clumps together, but I guess that's the product.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to just think, right, I'll just get it. I won't do it, but I'll see if I've got a spare. So this is a spare. So I will stamp the colour on like this, and then I will turn the wand this way and then coat the lens.
Oh, okay.
So I go like this,
Yeah.
because I really want to get the roots, and then I'll turn the wand and go like that. And I don't tend to worry if I've got mascara down here because I can just wipe that off. And then I'll go back with a clean spoolie like this and just brush through.
Wow.
So if you don't have a clean spoolie like this, you could use an old mascara wand it's from an old mascara, but just wash it and then keep it out of the tube, and then you've always got something to brush through your lashes with. Or even like an old clean toothbrush, although that's probably not as good. Or you can buy lash combs, but I find a clean spoolie to be much easier.
Yeah, the brushing effect. But I've never used a mascara with that thinner brush, I have to say. But
Yeah, I find
it's a bit easier to apply.
Yeah, I find a thin mascara wand slightly easier to apply because you haven't got so much of a big wand coming into your eye, and you can just get a little bit more detail.
Yes.
So I do find that's quite useful. So let's tidy up now any areas where we might have smudged. And then what I tend to do is I will go back and just top up any concealer. And now some people might say, oh, you could just leave the concealer till last, but actually by topping up at the end, you've actually created layers to your makeup by applying it once when you've started your makeup and then again at the end. And it's the layering of makeup in thin layers that helps the makeup stay on for longer.
Right.
So
well, that's a very good tip.
that just helps. And also it just cleans up any kind of mistakes that you might have corrected with a Q-tip. But with the added bonus is that you know that you're adding layers, which is going to help your makeup just last longer. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to just put a tiny bit of blush on the edges of your cheekbones here. And the blush I'm going to use is going to have a iridescence to it. Sorry, not an iridescence, that's the wrong word. It's going to have a sheen to it. So as soon as it goes on, it's going to give you this dewy effect. Because when you create a lot of dewiness on your cheekbone, on the side of your cheekbone there, it gives it an automatic lift. And it's a really clever little tip for this one here. So this product here, I'm going to add it. It's just a classic pink, but I'm going to take a little bit on my here. And then if you smile for me, I want to see where your cheek naturally goes. And I'm looking for the corner of your cheekbone. Typically, on most people, the corner of the cheekbone is right at the edge of the iris. And you'll feel it's like a little ridge there. And then I will just apply it right on this corner bit here. And you'll notice that even though we've got bronzer on, we'll add a little bit of blush as well, because it's really nice having the different shades to our face. Because a lot of people are like, oh, if I wear bronzer, I can't wear blusher or either or. But I'm always like, listen, apply your bronzer first and just put a touch of blusher on top. And it really creates this beautiful 3D effect, which I think just adds further definition and sculpt to anyone's face. Now, you might not be able to see this glow just yet, but in a minute, if you smile, and then just move your cheek, maybe that glow will pick up on camera. So we're going to do the other side. And this is a colour that just looks lovely on everyone. I'm going to put a little bit on your chin just to enhance here. So that, oh, that looks lovely. Something that I always say to people that you could do, especially for people that don't like wearing eyeshadow, is if you've got a blusher, take a tiny bit of the blush and you can always just pop it on your lids, just on the lower lid, and it gives a really pretty look to your eyes. And lots of people think, oh no, that must look a bit silly, but you'll see what it's doing, it just marries in all the colours together. So nothing is looking like too obvious, but it's all creating a really lovely tonal look to the face. So because we've played up your eyes, what we're going to do now is we're going to do your lips. Now, whenever I'm doing someone's lips, and I would always say this if you're choosing a new lip colour in the shops, is have your hair like you would most normally wear your hair. So Petra, you have your hair down. So the reason I'm saying that is because if you're someone that wears your hair off your face, you'll often notice that when people wear their hair off the face, it's either darker or lighter depending on if you've got greyness or if you've got naturally quite dark hair underneath, like Petra's got, and that would change the colour that I might decide to put on. But because Petra's got a lighter colour here, I like to have her hair on her face when I'm choosing that lipstick colour. Mm. Now I know, because we're friends, that you don't like a bold lip, but you want a defined lip, don't you?
I'd like my lips to look fuller.
Fuller. What we're going to do is we're going to use a lip liner. Mm-hmm. You're red, I'm sweating.
Sorry. That's a serious business.
We are serious. We're going to use a lip liner. Now, I tend to use a lip liner that is a few shades darker than your natural lip colour. Now, typically, Petra, I know that you tend to use a...
It's very neutral.
Very neutral.
Brown, almost browny.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to choose a lip liner.
Not that I know if that's right, because when I look at photos, it's not very interesting at all.
So we've got 3 lip liners here. Now, if you see these 3 lip liners, they all look quite similar. But if you look at Petra's lip colour, I'm going to go for this one, because this one is a few shades darker than Petra's lip colour. Now I know, because I know Petra, that when I put this on her, Petra's going to think it's quite dark, but we're going to put a neutral nudie gloss on top, and then it's going to knock that colour back, but it's still going to leave you with that definition.
That sounds like a plan.
Because when we wear a lip liner, it instantly gives us our lip shape back. Mm-hmm. And it's for me, it's a product that I wear every single day. It makes such a difference to anything that I wear on my lips, unless it's a really bold colour that doesn't need any lip liner, like a red, for example.
So when I put lip liner on, I just need to have a drink and then it's all gone.
Yeah,
so
I mean...
I like staying power as well.
So I think for you, Petra, the reason that, because you wear a very glossy lip, I don't think it's the lip liner that's coming off. I think it's the gloss that just creates that emollient that makes it come off.
Makes sense.
And really, the only way of combating that is to go for a really long-wearing matte lipstick, like what I've got on. This is like a 12-hour wear. And I don't think you would like that, because it would be too matte for you, because I know you like quite a dewy, glossy look to your lips. So I think your options would really be either finding a long wear lipstick with it that has a gloss that comes with it, which I know there's quite a lot of brands that do those, or it's a case of just think, well, I just have to top my lipstick up, every couple of hours. That is, there's a balance between, do I want glossy looking lips or do I want a kind of matte forever stay lip?
And I think when I get used to it a bit more, I think if I sort of build up over time, it won't be as unnatural for me to look in the mirror and see.
Yeah, that's a really...
I'll probably get more familiar with it.
Yeah, it's a really good point, because I think whenever someone's doing something new with their makeup,
it looks so different.
It always looks so different, and I always say, you know, try the look out at home first, wear it around the house, and get used to seeing yourself with it. And the other thing is sometimes we'll try a new lipstick look or a new eye look, and we won't have our hair done, or we'll be in our like comfy tracksuits, and you're kind of wearing a makeup look that's not normally how you'd normally wear it with your hair done and your nicer clothes. So it always looks a bit too done.
Yeah.
So I always think, you know, the best thing to do actually is after a day out and you're dressed quite nicely, you've got your hair done, that's a really good time to play with makeup, because you've got your hair done, you've got your clothes on, so you're already in that kind of look. So any other makeup you try just feels a bit more like, oh yeah, this is how I would look altogether. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to open this window here.
Cream you've put on as well. It feels nice and tight.
Yeah, this is this one. I'll put the links. Anything I'm using, I'll put the links. Although I don't think I need to add that one link in. Okay, so let's do your lips. So I'm going to start lining at the corner, because when I go in from the corner, this is going to help just create a little bit more fullness. Now, hopefully you can see on camera that it's very subtle, but this side looks a little bit more defined than this side, but it's still looking really natural. Now, this is a long wear lip liner. However, once we put a gloss on top, the gloss is, you know, you'd still have to top up the look. Now, I always recommend, especially if you're wearing a lip liner with a gloss, you line your lips and you fill your lips, and then you put the gloss on top. And that ensures that the gloss and the lip liner wear off evenly, because what you don't want is your gloss to wear off and then you've just got a line around your lips.
And is it better to do it with soft lips or sort of?
I tend to do just keep your lips quite natural, because sometimes when you do it quite taut and go like that, you can move your lips back and then be like, oh, I've gone over the edge.
Right.
You know. Oh, fantastic. And then if you just open them up a little bit. So this lip liner, you could wear this colour under any of your lipsticks, and this would help your lipstick last a little bit longer, because again, it's the layering of products.
Yeah.
So back in, before I started Beauty and Boutique as a company, I've done hundreds of wedding makeups over the years. And the most important thing for a bride is not only looking beautiful on her wedding day, but the makeup lasting right until, the evening. And it was always, you just layered up in lots of fine layers. So anything that creates layers is always going to help your makeup last longer. So now with this gloss, we're just going to apply this gloss over the top. And because this has iridescent particles in it, it's going to just make your lips look fuller, but in a really natural way. And because we've done your eyes quite sheeny, I think it's really nice having your lips to match. Look at me. Is it? That's it. Is it enough now? Just going to take a little bit. Lovely. Wow, Petra, you're amazing. You're popping. Yeah, Yeah, have a little look, see what you think.
Oh wow, yeah. That's given me a nice healthy glow, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you look really sexy. I think you look amazing.
Yeah, that is nice.
I'm going to show you a little.
I'm happy with.
A little trick for your lipstick. This looks rude, but this really does work. So you're going to take your finger and that will just make sure that when you're wearing gloss, it doesn't attract your teeth. So if you just go,
oh, I thought I could use yours.
That's it. Perfect. And you can see there's a little ring of lip gloss on Petra's finger, but that will just ensure that, you know, when you wear the gloss throughout the day, it doesn't go on your lips. So what are we thinking, Petra? Is this?
Yes,
I mean, is it a little bit more than what you normally wear?
Definitely. But I can see for an evening or an event. Yeah.
I really like the sheen on your lids.
I really like the colour though, because that's it's almost purpley, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's just a kind of a neutral colour, which I think most eye colours can wear. But for you in particular, I think it's really showing off your eyes.
Yeah.
Because you might like to just wear it on the lower lid, but I would say experiment with taking it higher. And I'd say this for anyone watching this at home as well, is that we all get used to putting the eyeshadow here, but just test out putting it a bit higher. And typically, if you want to guide where your eyeshadow should go, it's when you put mascara on, where your lashes hit your lid, take your colour up to there. And as long as it's quite a natural colour, it should look quite natural.
And this feels like it will last as well.
Yeah, you'll have to test it out.
The nice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does definitely feel like it's giving me a tautness to my skin.
Yeah, you look stunning. I mean, you look stunning anyway.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And this is our first live makeup lesson. If you'd like to see more, let us know. Equally, if you'd like to receive my beauty makeup class, it's totally free. You just need to comment beauty secrets and we will send you the link to my makeup course. It's over 7 days and you get a lesson each day. It's like half an hour long, but the lessons get better and better as the week goes on. And I think you'll love it. And I think you'll learn quite a lot from it. But any questions you have, ask below. We're here to help. And thank you for watching. We really appreciate it and couldn't do it without you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ladies.